Hello, my name is Trish Vander Mooren, and in this short video, I'm going to take you through the Home Buyer Masterclass. And in this masterclass, we're going to talk about the 7 steps to successfully buying a home in today's competitive market. Let's get into it. First, a little bit about me. I serve in Southern California, and I also serve in Southern Washington. I currently live in California, and the area that I focus mostly on is the high desert, Victorville, and surrounding area. That is where I live. But I do cover all of Southern California. In Washington, I cover Southern Washington and Olympia and surrounding areas. I have great support there with a team that I work with in Washington, so in the times that I'm not in town, I'm able to service my clients with the help of my team. Now, what do you get when you work with me? You get somebody who's going to be incredibly communicative and somebody who puts your values first. What's important to you becomes incredibly important to me. What's important to you in your home, what you're looking for, those are the things that I am looking for. I also understand this is the biggest thing you've ever done, most likely, and you have a lot of questions. So I pride myself in the fact that I am here available to you to answer all questions and walk you through every single step, and just with clarity and helping you so that you can sleep at night knowing you're making good decisions. All right, let's get into the 7 steps. The first one is going to be the big 3. We're going to talk about your non-negotiables. What's most important to you in your home, things that you just cannot live without. You have to have a bathtub. You have to have 3 bedrooms. You've got to have 2 bathrooms. You know, those kinds of things. It must be a single story. It must be a 2-story. Your non-negotiables. We're also going to talk about the areas in which you're looking. Does it need to be near certain schools or near your work? Your non-negotiables in what you're looking for in your family home. We're also going to talk about price range. You know, what is the ideal number that you want to be at? What's your stretch if you want to stretch? What does that look like so I know what we're shopping for? And then most importantly, it's going to be about timeline, because I need to know how quickly I need to move. Are we looking at a very quick move? We got to identify a home very soon within the next 0 to 3 months, or do we have a little bit of time to shop around so I can adjust my speed in helping you find that home? Number 2, we're going to talk about agencies and fees and what are the parties involved in a real estate transaction. Well, first you're going to have a buyer's agent, which would be me representing you, the buyer. I'm the buyer's agent. The listing agent represents the seller in the transaction. And then you have the neutral third party. That always tongue ties me for some reason. And that is your escrow, your title, or attorney if you're an attorney state. We in California and Washington are escrow states. So that neutral third party is there to make sure that both sides of the transaction are abiding by the contract and everything is going very smoothly. They hold on to the earnest money, so they are there to protect the contract. Fees are negotiated when you enter into an agreement. If you're a buyer's agent with a buyer, once we enter into an agreement to work together, we talk about fees, and fees are negotiable. On the listing side, that's between listing agent and seller, and again, those fees are negotiable. With regards to third-party title and escrow fees, those are processing fees and different fees that go along with that wrap into your closing costs. Let's talk about financials. Unless you're buying your home with cash, you're going to take out a loan, a mortgage. You're going to need to get with a lender if you haven't already gotten with one, and I can help you with that process. My team and I can help you identify the lender that is right for you, and you can get pre-approved and understand what your monthly payment would roughly be at that price point, so you're ready to shop in the homes in your price point. We're going to identify your cash needed for whether it's a down payment, if you're going to have a down payment, and what your closing costs are, your home inspection, and what earnest money and how that plays into that. So that you can take that money and set it aside and keep it secure so it's ready when you need it. If you are getting a loan, you're going to talk with your lender. You're going to be in great partnership with your lender to manage your credit. And what that means is while you're under contract, you can't go out and buy a Ferrari, because that does affect your debt to income ratio. So managing the things that you do and the things that you spend money on, whether you change a job or not, those are things that you don't do when you're in an escrow. And strongly encourage that you are just lockstep with your lender with any changes that you might want to make. You talk to them first so that it doesn't jeopardize your loan. And then once we identify a home, we're going to talk about offer strategy. What's that look like? What's a great strategy for that particular home? Because if it's a competitive one, we have to really be selective on what we do to present our best offer forward. So price gets us noticed. Price is important to sellers in particular. It does need to appraise for that unless you're making that gap up. But price is super important. The terms of an offer are, some would say, maybe even more important. Are you offering to give them a rent back so they can stay in their home a little bit longer and move out easier? Are you giving them the timeline for closing that they're looking for? Are you doing a short inspection clause or contingency? Those kind of terms involved. What is your down payment? What type of loan? Those are all hugely important when it comes to your offer strategy. Timing and convenience, like I said, in regards to closing, are we giving them the closing timeline that they're looking for? Concessions, are we asking for sellers to help pay for some certain things, whether it's repairs or help with closing costs? What are those concessions that we might be asking for? And contingencies, what are those things that are there to protect you? What are those time frames? Because contingencies are in place to protect the buyer within that contract, that if something was to happen, they can back out of the deal and maintain their earnest money. So offer strategy, very, very important. The next couple of things are things that happen when we're in a transaction, and that would be a home inspection. Now, these are not mandatory, but strongly encouraged, especially by me. I always encourage an inspection. It is a buyer's due diligence to identify what's going on in the property and the things that they can't see, what's happening on the roof and the attic, if there's a basement, what's going on in the basement, the plumbing, the HVAC, all of those things that you can't see, so you know what you're getting into with that home. And then what's important about that is once we look at that report, that we remain pragmatic in negotiations. You're going to see a lot of things on the home inspection report, things that maybe become your honey-do list down the road, but things that are safety concerns and things that you want to get fixed prior to moving forward. You want to ask the seller to do that. But it's really important that we remain pragmatic in that, because it sometimes can be quite a big of a list. The next thing is going to be the appraisal, which is the lender's due diligence, because they want to identify the value of that property and make sure that that is within the loan amount. So the appraisal will do that. The lender will order an appraisal, and that is a contingent that we need to get through. The last thing is probably the most important thing, and that is our partnership. How we work together, how I support you. In that partnership, we set really good processes, understanding exactly what you're looking for. My team and I help you walk you through that process. We, like I said, your values, what's important to you becomes super important to us. And we plan for every step of the way. I have a team in place that handles all the transactions to make sure things go smoothly. So we are lockstep 100% in the entire process. And then most importantly, what I always think is communication. How I communicate with you and how you communicate with me. So as we're looking at homes and you see something that you're communicating with me, if I see something in a home, I'm communicating with you. And we just are very, very tight in our communication. It is a partnership. So that's it. Those are the 7 steps. And when you are ready to get started, just send me a message and let's get together. My name is Trish Vander Mooren, and I look forward to helping you find your home.